Hi everyone. Today we're going to take a look at compound complex sentences. So previously we've looked at simple sentences, which just have one independent clause, compound sentences that have two independent clauses, as well as complex sentences that have one independent and one dependent clause. Well, today we're going to take a look at compound complex sentences. So to understand this, let's look at the example below. Angela, who works at Shake It Diner, had to miss her shift since her son had a school performance that day. So, what makes a compound complex sentence is that it has two independent clauses as well as one dependent clause. Now, these clauses don't need to be in a specific order. We can either have the dependent clause at the beginning and two independent clauses following it, or we can have an independent clause, a dependent clause, and then another independent clause. It doesn't matter the order of our clauses. We just need to make sure that we have all three of these types of clauses in our sentence. So let's take a look at the sentence below. Let's first try to identify our dependent clause, because this usually will be set aside using commas, and it won't make sense by itself as a sentence. Well, I see two commas that are setting aside a phrase right over here. In between those two commas, I see the phrase, who works at Shake It Diner. In this case, who works at Shake It Diner would be our dependent clause, because again, as a reminder, dependent clauses cannot stand by themselves. Who works at Shake It Diner doesn't make sense as a sentence by itself. So we know that this has to be our dependent clause. Well, if we remove that dependent clause, we would see Angela had to miss her shift. So in this case, this would be our first independent clause. The interesting thing here is that our first independent clause has actually been separated by the dependent clause. And that is also something that we see pretty frequently when we're looking at compound complex sentences. So Angela had to miss her shift is our first independent clause. And then who works at Shake It Diner is our dependent clause. So finally, we need to find our third independent clause. So if we look at the rest of the sentence, we have, ignoring this combining word, her son had a school performance that day. Now that works by itself as a sentence. So her son had a school performance that day is our next independent clause. So we have our first independent clause right over here. Independent clause is in yellow. And that independent clause is being separated by this dependent clause over here. And then finally, at the end, we have another independent clause. And this is one of the ways that we can see compound complex sentences. It is just important to make sure that we have all three of these components when we're looking at this type of sentence. To get more personalized tutoring and to practice online using our online assessments, make sure to check out Prepaze.com. Don't forget to give this video a huge thumbs up and also hit the subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell so you get notifications whenever I post. And if you guys want me to cover a specific topic, make sure to leave that down in the comments section as well. I'll see you all in my next video.